Hello and welcome to the pre-game of Waikato versus Hawke's Bay. We have the Ranfurly Shield on the line, and more importantly, we have the new gimbal handheld things. Hopefully this is all a bit more stable for you than you've seen, than the previous shows have been. So Hawke's Bay they have got this 8, 9, 10 combination of Evans, Webber, Falcon, which is going to be a key thing for them versus the versus Waikato. Waikato are really going to have to win this one up front, because that decision-making triumvirate of Super Rugby players is going to be could definitely control this game. Brown, Webber, obviously, Brown, Webber, was played for Waikato previously, and his last game for Waikato against Hawke's Bay, he actually won the Ranfurly Shield off Hawke's Bay. And he said that, for the past 3 years, everyone in Hawke's Bay said he's got to bring it back since he took it away. Now, he said actually that was his best week of his life after he won the Ranfurly Shield, so I think he'll have been telling plenty of stories about that to try and gee the boys up for this one. This is going to be, this is a big game. Actually also in that game when he took the Ranfurly Shield off Hawke's Bay, he scored a hat-trick as well. So expect Webber to get some attention tonight, definitely from the crowd as well as from the players. Christian in the live chat there, hi there, he reckons Waikato by 12. I reckon Waikato will probably win it as well, but I've gone by 5. They say that Hawke's Bay decision-making group is key, and the Waikato forwards are really going to have to give front foot ball. This is the shortest turnaround. If Hawke's Bay do it, this could be the shortest ever tenure of holding on to the Ranfurly Shield of 4 days now. And why is that? It's because of Storm Week and the new competition. Obviously, historically, you only play once a week. You wouldn't play several times in a week. So Waikato have now played Thursday to Wednesday to Sunday to Thursday. So they play 4 games in 15 days. That has, obviously, there's a chance that will have taken out of their legs, and we'll have to see how they manage to cope with that. And a lot of us looked at their initial start to the season with those 3 losses, and they backed up with 2 wins now. But if you think about those first 5 games they've played, 4 of them have been against Premiership opposition, only 1 against Championship opposition. And from now on, all their games against Championship opposition. So I think perhaps when we were looking at their record previously, maybe we were not taking fully into account the standard of opposition that Waikato have faced. Whereas if we look at Hawke's Bay coming into this one, they've won 3 out of their 4 games, sure. But that included Southland, that included Otago, and their 3rd win was also over Championship opposition. The only time they've faced Premiership opposition, they have lost this season. So, are we overstating how good Hawke's Bay are because of who they've played, rather than and then looking at their results? So, they are top 1st and 2nd in the Championship. So it should be a cracker tonight. I will be back at half-time and full-time to give you my half-time reports, full-time reports, and then also a couple of interviews after the game, hoping to have a chat with Brad Webber. I'm not sure who else we will be able to get hold of, but we'll try and have a chat with them. So enjoy the game. Hello and welcome to the half-time report from Waikato versus Hawke's Bay here in the Ranfurly Shield Challenge Cup at half-time. It is 21-15 to Waikato, and early on though Hawke's Bay had the better of the game, and saw Brad Webber go over after beating like 4 or 5 players. Then let's be honest, that had to happen, didn't it, after his history with both these 2 sides and the Ranfurly Shield. It wasn't surprising to see him go over first. It was just written in the stars. So he went over first. Then for the second tip, we had a yellow card for number 12 from Hawke's Bay. As the first one, to be fair, it was more clumsy and accidental than deliberate. The second one, it was pretty clear that he flipped the guy over, and so off he went for a yellow. Waikato did make a bit of an effort to go over. They really, to me, were trying to go through the forwards when you've got a guy off in the backs. There's going to be space in the backs, and that's where they scored in the end. Sweeney bashing over after the number 9 loops round off the back of the scrum. But one of Waikato's problems has been exiting the restarts. It really has. And then
straight after that, they owe a penalty, allowing it to be a 7-3 basically from that yellow card period, allowing Hawke's Bay to come back into it. Or actually to go back in the lead, 7-10. We then had Reese, who is heading off to Connacht at the end of this, really showing his class. There was an overthrow line out, he collected it, and from over 22 out, he dodged about 3 or 4 players and went over. A very nice individual try. We saw him then looping round after another line out to cause some havoc. About the second or third time he touched the ball in that move, he then threw it inside, and number 8 was there to flop over, and suddenly it went out to a 21-10 lead. And let's be honest, the kicking from Waikato has been pretty good, at least kicking posts, he hasn't missed any yet. One of them did bounce off, but we'll let him off that, it still went over. We then had another restart that Waikato struggled to exit from. Line-out maul came from that after one of the penalties, and from that Hawke's Bay went over. They couldn't make the conversion, and so that's why it ended 21-15 in the end. I'd say some serious problems for Waikato on exiting, and the game was with Hawke's Bay early on, but Waikato have come back into it in this second half, since that yellow card, and they do deserve their lead, because it's only really been when they haven't exited that Hawke's Bay have picked up points since then. Anyway, looks like it's going to be a cracking second half. There's only 6 points in it, so this is still anybody's game, obviously. And we've already seen Evans and Webber, 2 players we picked out before the game, playing well for Hawke's Bay. Reese and has obviously stood out for Waikato. Both 10s playing well, as well as they should do. In both 2 young Super Rugby squad fly halves, so you'd expect to do that. Sweeney's showing his experience as well for Waikato. Anyway, let's enjoy the second half, and I'll talk to you at the end of the game.
Hello and welcome to the full-time report from Waikato versus Hawke's Bay, where Waikato ran out winners 42-22. And they led at half-time with 21-15. And then we ended up in a bit of an arm wrestle in that second half. Too many errors, a bunch of scrums, and it took a while for ascendancy to really happen. But when it did, boy, did Waikato take a full advantage of it, scoring three unanswered tries to take the lead up to 42-15. After which, Hawke's Bay got a consolation try with 2 minutes to go, but it really was a consolation try, and it was all over by then. In the press box, there were people already talking about what Waikato were going to do with the Shield over the next 2 weeks before they have their next defence of the Shield. So they're going to take around schools and stuff like that. So they've got all this planning to get in place. It just shows you how comfortable this was with the 10 or so minutes to go. Again, it was that man, Reese, who caused the problems, hitting the angles and making ground and causing Hawke's Bay all sorts of problems before Waikato managed to bash over. He didn't actually get the try, but he made all the ground and put them in a good position. Then, off the back of a scrum, a bit of a low pass, great hands by the fly half, picking it up around his bootlaces and scrambling over. It's always very difficult from 5 metres out to defend one of those scrums. And everyone was feeling kind of nice and confident by that stage. And then eventually the line side flanker burst the line, and some nice hands from him. Tucker puts the replacement scrum half over, making it 42-15. As I say, Hawke's Bay did come back and score one at the end, but it was all over by then. There was obviously that first sort of 20 minutes after half time was a bit scrappy, real arm wrestle as the two sides just trying to get ascendancy. But when Waikato managed to get Reese the ball in the opposition half, he caused havoc, and he really was one of the big differences in these two sides today. So comfortable defence in the end of the Shield by Waikato. This puts them top of the championship. Sure, they've played an extra game than everyone else, but they've also played all their premiership games as well, which sets them up good for a run towards the finals. They've still got Southland and Otago at home, plus Northland, and I've gone blank, but Bay Plenty, that's right, away are their final games. Hawke's Bay have got many more, still got 3 of their premiership clashes to come, so even though they sit second in the championship still, they've got a lot of work before the finals time comes round. As I said before this game, with that 8, 9, 10 combination they've got with Super Rugby experience, they really have got some. They really have got a good chance of going through. They've got some wonderful players, but today the defence couldn't hold out, and Waikato got the job done. So here I am with Alice after a bit of a tough day at the office for you.
Yeah, I think we just sort of lost some critical moments there in that start of that second 40. That's the ones you got to win out there in Shield Rugby, and unfortunately we couldn't do it, so they got on the front foot, and that's what sort of turned the swing of the game. Yeah, that second, just after half time, it seems a bunch of knock-ons, a bunch of scrums, it all got a bit messy, a bit of an arm wrestle, and then they came through. I'll be honest, I've got an ulterior motive, because how is the podcast going? Yeah, no, we're chipping away. We're probably a little bit slack for our listeners' favour, to be fair. We try and chip away and get as many as we can. We're in the process of sort of recording one at the moment with one of the boys in the team. So, yeah, we try, but we enjoy doing it, and we just sort of chip away, and we've got a bit of free PD time that we can get it, but we enjoy it. Good. And so he's one of my competition, you see, so that's why I thought I'd come and get some secret tips because I have a podcast and YouTube channel as well. So do check out the one that Michael and Brad do. They have a good one, and then you're interviewing guys and getting some behind the scenes sort of stuff. Yeah, we just try and get a bit of insight into sort of players and what they're like as people off the field and away from the rugby scene. Not often the media get full access to that, so that's what we try and give a little bit of insight on code tripping there. So behind the scenes, that's where you want to check out their one. What's it called again? Code tripping. So check out code tripping, and thank you, Mike. No worries, thank you, mate. All good. So hello, I'm here. I'm with Rog again. He probably thinks, oops, my new toys all over the place. Probably thinks I'm kind of stalking him. It's like the third game on the trot, and it's been 3 games and 3 wins. That's fantastic news. Yeah, 15 points. To the last 3 games is unbelievable. Against some quality teams, and for us, it's the character in our team to get that performance after the last 2 games is it's undescribable, really. It has been 4 games, 15 days, the whole Storm week, and then actually an early game this round as well. Yeah. How have you managed that with the sort of fitness side of things? No, we've recovered pretty well, but after that necky, when boys had a couple of beers that night, and so we're a bit jaded starting this week, but the mood was really good in terms of what the Shield means and what it brings to our families and our supporters. It really does bring out the best of our province, and we're proud Ranfurly Shield province. And talking about celebrations, obviously you've got a little plaster on your face there. Is that a unidentified drinking injury? No, that was from Jono. I think he, one of my backs might have dropped the ball and he might have accidentally flicked the book or something. He might have flicked me on the cheek. So, as you say, it's been 4 days since the last game, and you talked about sort of re-winning the Shield this time. So, does that mean the proper celebrations happen now because of the time turnaround? Yeah, yes and no. I think we enjoy each other's company tonight. But we play a Bay of Plenty in 8 days' time, and we don't want to make an 8-day turnaround a 6-day turnaround. So it's important we join each other's company tonight with our families, and recover well tomorrow and rest up and get away for a couple of days, and come back in on Sunday and start our week with a really good week's preparation. Great. Thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on the 3 wins. Cheers, appreciate that.